This is our number 16 video in the educational series on environmental risks in real estate transactions. We believe that problems become smaller when they are confronted, that the essence of confront is in the examination of the details that make the problems, and that in so doing, we are likely to become immune to, or cannot get hurt, by the subject or object that we confront. My name is Ami Adini, the author of this series. A summary of my credentials is in the back with a transcript of this video. Underground storage tanks represent a main concern in transactions with commercial or industrial properties. Invisible to the naked eye, in some cases out of sight and out of mind for generations, they are buried and rusting away. The modern gasoline station is not a concern. Starting in the late 1980s, early 1990s, these underground storage systems have been designed and constructed to be leak-proof. It's the antiquated tank systems that can ruin a transaction. While modern systems of underground petroleum storage tanks are protected financially by state-sponsored insurance programs, the antiquated tanks are not. We find them through research and historical archives, and at times we just stumble into them when properties get sold or redeveloped. In the first slide, we see a classic rendition of the risks. It depicts a gasoline tank, although we ran into tanks that contained other chemicals. The slide shows the leaking fluids travel to groundwater, and it shows the toxic and explosive vapors travel into the neighboring residence through the sewer. The next slide is an assemblage of real-life cases. Top right, we see a 500-gallon tank pulled from the driveway of a commercial property. Some 50 or 60 years ago, a business thrived there with a small fleet of vehicles. As a precursor to closing the property transfer transaction, we take soil samples and soil vapor samples under the tanks all the way to groundwater, demonstrate it's all clean, and then the transaction proceeds and the tanks are yanked out. On the upper left side, we see a tank, and the picture under it shows the head-size holes that rusted away at the bottom. This tank was installed in the late 1940s. The owners purchased the place in early 1970s with no knowledge of the tank. Fortunately, this tank did not cause contamination. In the bottom middle, we see the soil in the excavation of not so fortunate a case. It's contaminated. In the case of gasoline tanks, the color is usually gray-green with a typical sour odor. Thank you for listening. Copies of all videos are available in PDF, and you can contact me for any questions or concerns. Next, we'll present certain aspects of metal plating that can impact the environment. Highly recommended. I hope to see you there.